going to talk about growing up in rural South Africa. Growing up in rural South Africa is really, really difficult for who you don't know. Maybe you are in Europe or America. Life here is very difficult, especially if you want to do like things that are out of the box. For an example, normally you know that the person must get a job and then from there work so that he can get an income. So normally life is like that in this country, but when it comes to things like starting a YouTube channel, it's very, very difficult, and also the knowledge of starting a YouTube channel, we don't have it here. For you, in order to access that kind of knowledge, it's not easy. So I think there is a gap in terms of knowledge between being a rural South African and also another person from European countries or America. So that's how it is, guys. Things are not easy here. So you are going to struggle a lot. A few can do it, but because South Africa is divided into different regions. We have urban areas and rural areas. This country mostly consists of rural areas, so it's difficult for most of the youth. So, for you, in order to get out of poverty as a South African, it's very difficult. It's not easy. Uh, Also, access to things like internet, free data. It's not easy to get access to those things. And then from there, also the language, because most YouTubers, they can speak proper English. Whereas you know that YouTube mostly they do what in they approve or maybe consider channels whereby someone must speak a good English. So the English language here in South Africa, most of the youth cannot speak proper and fluent English, which is what becomes a barrier also. So as a South African, I think that we don't have to blame the youth in most cases when they can't get jobs or maybe they can't start their own YouTube channels, because we also know that competition is very high in the YouTube algorithm, so it's very difficult. So also the knowledge and the education for starting a YouTube channel is very, 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 very far from being fetched by an ordinary, an average South African citizen. So the issue here is just that I want to explain that we don't have to blame people for not starting YouTube channels or maybe doing good in YouTube, because there is a lack of knowledge, there is a poor English, and then also the access to data. We can't afford to buy enough data so that we will be able to upload videos on YouTube. So it's not easy here. I think maybe as time goes on, there will be some alternatives that will enable youth to be able to be exposed to YouTube and also other platforms in order to create content, and then so that all the barriers that are there can be eliminated. So I think as time goes on, this will be possible, and it's very disappointing because with high unemployment rate, so youth is going to look for other alternatives. And then, according to my knowledge, I think YouTube is one of the alternatives that that youth can resort for. So YouTube is also a platform that is easy for the youth to be able to use and implement if the proper facilities are in position. So it's difficult here. So I think some other government projects will be initiated whereby youth will be made aware of that social media is another tool that you can use in order to succeed in life besides looking for a normal job. But it's difficult here because at schools, youth are only be taught things that have nothing to do with social media. So if you are in other countries, so I just want to explain that it's difficult here to create content, and then but there are some who create content, but it's not as familiar and easy as in other European countries. You can say maybe people are lazy or maybe they lack talent, but that's not how it is. Things are difficult, guys, so you have to feel sympathy for people who are poor here because that's not only the route or an option that they can choose. It is how the situation it is. So I myself also trying my best to make sure that I can create best YouTube channel and then come up with the best content. But the barrier due to language and then the barrier due to lack of information, you end up not being able to produce a good YouTube channel. So and then from there, it's also disappointing. You also feel sad that you see that people are doing this thing and then you wish that you can do it, but with the barriers that I've already mentioned, it end up becoming impossible and difficult for you. So that's how things are. So we just wish our very very best to people who want to become good YouTubers, and then also we encourage them to learn good English because truly speaking, English is the only language that you can use on YouTube that will make you to create a good content and also to create a content that is recommended, because most channels here are recommended and they become good only when they use English as the language. I know that there are some people from other countries who create YouTube content using their own language, but if you want to be on the international scale and then you want to be large on YouTube channel, I think English is the language that you must use. So that's the only problem that we are experiencing in some African countries, whereby English is not a medium language of instruction. So that's the kind of challenges that we are experiencing in this country. So I think as time goes on, guys, we just have to push. We have to believe that we can do it. Don't give up. And then I'm also one of those people who are experiencing that struggle of language barrier. But I think as time goes on, we are going to become more sharper. We are going to become good in speaking English so that we are going to create good content that can end up making us good YouTubers who are recommended by YouTube. Thank you, guys.